Hello, Tracy here again. And today I'm going to tell you about the time whenever I was house sitting for my friend, Karmalita. So I'm house sitting for my friend Karmalita, and she's got this huge, huge house, and it overlooks the mountains, and it's beautiful. And on one wall, the entire wall, it's nothing but windows. So when you wake up in the morning and you see the sun shining in, and all you see are the mountains, the different beautiful colors in the side of the mountains. So I enjoyed house sitting. And it was the very last day that she was on her way home. So one person, I don't even know who it was, but somebody took this big, like a piece of a brick, and threw it through the window. So I actually was in the back of the house and I heard something, and so I come running to the front of the house and I saw it. And I thought, what the hell? So I called my friend Karmalita, and she says, "You know what, girl, don't even worry about it. I'm 15 minutes away from the house." She said, she says, "I already know who did it, and I'm going to have somebody come fix the window. Don't even worry about it." So she came, she got there. The person they came, they fixed the window. She paid the man. Afterwards, she went ahead, turned some music on, fixed dinner. We ate, and we had a nice time, and then I went home. And she never, ever, ever mentioned that window. And I kind of thought that was a little odd. But she said she knew who did it, so I just said, well, she knows what's going on. So I kind of forgot about it. But she didn't. And the person who did it, they kind of forgot about it too. They never came and apologized to her. They never brought it up. They never came and tried to wrong or right. They never tried to reimburse her for that window. They just decided that they were just going to go ahead and go on with the rest of their life, not worrying about it. So she says, okay, go ahead. Good luck with that. They moved several times, several states, even a few different countries. And she had a friend who worked for the Postal Service. And she was always able to keep up with that person. No matter where he moved. No matter when he moved. No matter how often he moved. She always knew where he was at. Always. She knew about the day that he got married. She knew about the day that he started his business. She read about it, and she watched him on the news on whenever he accepted all those rewards and awards. All those accolades for doing all these things, these wonderful things within the community. She watched as he progressed in life. She remembered whenever he first got married and they started having kids, and now they have grandkids, and she saw that he had a happy, big, beautiful life. And she even saw whenever he retired from his position, his public position, and where he even thanked everyone that helped him to aspire, to become, to reach that pinnacle of success. And he was so thankful that he was able to save so much money so that as he was in retirement, he didn't even have to worry about it. He could travel. He could live lavishly. He could do whatever it was that he wanted. He even had the biggest house. He even had a house with a wall with windows. But his windows, because in the back of his mind, he always remembered what he did to Karmalita's house. He had the thick bulletproof windows. But he had them as stained glass, exquisite, beautiful looking windows to hide the fact that they were bulletproof. And no one could ever do to him the same thing that he did to others several years ago. And so one day, he's at home, he's with his wife, he's with his kids, he's with his grandkids. The entire family is there. And there's his kids' spouses. You know, the entire family is there, and they're just loving on him. And he hears the doorbell. And the maid goes and she answers the door. And she comes back and she comes to him and she says, please come to the door. And she looks really strange and worried. So he looks a little shocked and worried himself, but he goes to the door like, oh, I'm going to get down to the bottom of this. I'm going to figure this out. And when he gets to the door, he sees this little old lady. And he yanks the door open and he's looking around and he's looking for anybody else, and he doesn't see anybody else except this little old lady. And he looks down at her and he's like, yes, can I help you? And she looks up at him and she says, you don't remember me, do you? He says, if you don't get off my front step, I'm going to call the police. So she takes off her hat and she undoes her scarf and she removes her sunglasses. And she says, you really don't remember me? And he kind of looks at her. And he kind of looks at her. And he looks at her again. And he's shocked as shit can be. Lo and behold, who is standing at his front door? Karma from the old block. She looks at him and she says, oh, you remember me now, don't you? She takes a hand and she pushes the door open. She pushes past him. She kicks her shoes off. She's walking around in the foyer and she says, what we got going on here? Yo, what's up? And he's like, shh, I'll be quiet. My family's here. My entire family's here. I don't want them to know anything. She says, no problem. So she goes, shh, and a loud whistle fills the entire house and everybody comes because they've never heard a whistle like that before. And his wife is like, honey, who is this? She looks at the wife and she says, how you doing, sweetie? My name is Karma, and I'm from the old block. I know he told you about me. I know he told you we go way back before you was even in the picture. She says, no, he never told me about you. So Karma slaps him on the back. Go ahead. Fill your wife in. Let her know who I am and what I came for. So he's kind of nervous and he's stammering around. He's like, honey, honey, And so the wife tries to take over. Get out of my house! And he looks at her and he says, you better shut the fuck up. And she realizes that he's serious. And she looks at Karma. And Karma's like chewing on her gum. And the wife takes 25 steps back. So he says to Karma, how can I help you? As he's kind of cowering, sinking, shrinking. She says, you remember that window that you broke? The one that I paid for? and I never mentioned to you, but I knew you did it. You never apologized. You never tried to pay me back. He said, yeah. So she pulls out a piece of paper from her pocket and she says, I got the bill. So he looks at the bill and he sees the parts to replace the window, which is no big deal, but he also sees all of those years of interest. And this just ain't no regular daily compound interest at 425%. This is karma interest, which hits you like 10 times harder than regular interest. So he keeps looking, and he gets down to the total at the bottom, and his heart sinks. The amount that he has to pay karma after he sold his house and all of his cars, the horses, the stable, his companies, and his loving retirement. After he's liquidated all of that, she was so wonderful and cared so much about him that she left him $100. Some of y'all think that's mean. Some of y'all think that's cruel. Some of y'all think that's barbaric. No, boo. That's just karma.